Hello and welcome back to the Underestimate and to another edition of Smackdown Out of 10. On the heels of a blockbuster footage of undisputed WWE champ Cody Rhodes attacking Drew McIntyre at his home, what did the American Nightmare have to say about his action, and much more following the fallout from John Cena's last match on Saturday night's main event. So yeah, let's get straight into it. And the show started off with Damian Priest, and he wasted little time showing respect to John Cena before turning his attention to last week's win over Black and Vega. Before he could talk about next year, a latter interrupted, calling the Punisher a hypocrite. This distraction allowed Black to attack his rival from behind, but Priest fended him off. He grabbed a table from underneath the ring and set it up in hopes of driving his foe through it, but ultimately found himself the recipient of this chair attack. Black delivered a meteor, driving the babyface through the table and exited with his wife amid boos. And yeah, to be honest, I'm not against these two fighting again, so yeah, good stuff. As we then moved on to the Kabuki Warriors versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend in a non-title match, and they wasted little time kind of getting on top of the champs. The Pirate Princess though soared through the air, wiping her opponents out, entering the break. The Powerhouse Tanda regained control during the break, isolating Zayn and cutting her off from her partner. A hot tag for the Empress of Tomorrow though had fans back into the match and the champions rallying. The heels cut off the comeback attempt though, and Jax finished Zayn off with the Annihilator. After the match, Charlotte and Alexa laid into the victors and sent them scurrying to stand tall. Yeah, I'll give it 6 out of 10. Not bad stuff, and good to see the women's tag division gain some focus. Before, in a pre-tape vignette, Nick Aldis visited Drew McIntyre at his home to discuss the conditions of his reinstatement when Cody Rhodes showed up with Aldis offering a world title match and a public apology to the ref and a hefty fine to be paid for his War Games kind of interference. The Scottish Warrior declined, telling Aldis he wanted it in writing. Rhodes couldn't touch him. McIntyre received a notification from his security cameras that Rhodes was at his front door. The two brawled until police officers separated them, and the champ exclaimed, "Merry Christmas, arsehole." As after the video aired, Byron caught out with Aldis, who was interrupted by The Miz, and the Hollywood A-list of politics for a match with Joe Hendry, and the SmackDown GM approved for next week. I mean, yeah, this is interesting. Pretty wild thing for a babyface to do, but yeah, pretty entertaining at the same time. So yeah, good stuff. We then got Julia versus Alba Fyre, despite driven by rage and determination to get her title back. Julia was punishing the Scottish Born superstar, all while Chelsea Green watched the ringside. And what was a glorified and handsome match, Julia out-wrestled her opponent, rocked her with the Eva knee strike, and put her down with the Northern Lights bomb for the win. After the match, she stared Green down, intimidating her enough for the champ to trip and fall on her way out, which was quite an entertaining end to it. But yeah, pretty basic stuff. 5 out of 10. The American Nightmare then immediately addressed his pull-apart with McIntyre, mockingly asking him if a more suitable work environment for him was to be the Staples. Aldis interrupted, taking exception to Rhodes overstepping and not trusting him to get the negotiations with prospective number one contenders done. He reiterated the conditions, not touching McIntyre, and the champ accepted them, but not a few words of wisdom. Rhodes told Aldis not to forget he is the quarterback, the guy who changed the industry and dethroned the charitable chief. He ended the tense segment by reminding Aldis that as long as he is the champ, Rhodes works for the people and the GM works for him. Yeah, intriguing tension between those two. I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Before 1 week after coming to the aid of the US champion, Hayes partnered with Dragunov to battle DIY, who dominated a large portion of the action. Their history as a team is undeniable and their chemistry is great. Obviously single stars in NXT. They fought back though, doing everything to evade defeat before Dragunov blasted Ciampa with the H-bomb, and Hayes followed up with a nothing but net for the victory. Yeah, this gets an 8 out of 10 from me. I mean, pretty good stuff. A really good match between these two, and hopefully we get more of it. I like how they're all involved in the US title picture as well. So yeah, that works really nicely. Yeah, good stuff. Tag titles were then on the line when the Wyatt Six battled the MFTs, and yeah, the challengers dominated and isolated Loomis, cutting him off from his partner. They worked over the tallest athlete in the match before he created separation, tagged in Gacy. The champs mounted a comeback, but had their momentum halted by interference from Talatonga at ringside. Rowan wiped him out and a brawl ensued, resulting in a double DQ. The Wyatt Six and MFG waged war in and around the ring to close the show. Chaos reigning supreme. Pretty good put apart to win the show, and yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And overall, for a show that was pre-taped, it was a pretty decent show. Clear direction from the top with a lot of stuff going on, while the prospects of the Blue Brand going back to 3 hours is pretty bleak. I think this episode hit nice and was compact stride and never really was anything other than a pretty decent wrestling. So yeah, good stuff. 7 out of 10. Hey guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.